Alright, howdy pirates, Solhex here, and looking at the new hull, the Shrike. I already did a video about the Eradicator, and I did a lot of testing with the Hydras and Buccaneers, and most Buccaneers were a fail, but now we're looking into the Shrike siege hull. So this is a siege hull sub fleet. So look at the whole stats and all that stuff, and so I want to kind of go through it real quick. The special abilities are really a big thing. They do a lot of radioactive damage and defense, all depending on how many ships you have. So this is one of those you have to have multiple ships in your fleet to get the bonus. So one hull won't be good enough to do stuff, so you need multiple hulls. And so far it doesn't have a range of effects, so this can be battle wide. So you can park this one of these suckers in a corner and just go on with the rest of the fleet, just like the Eradicators. They don't specify that in the blueprint, and they didn't specify that in the Eradicator blueprint, so I'm pretty sure that it works the same way. I'll ask later on in Discord and see if that works. Another little interesting tidbit here is the ambush predator. So when this sucker is moving, it will stay submerged, but whenever it stops, it will rise and will fire. So these launchers that it comes with will not fire underwater. They will fire whenever it surfaces, and they will and it only surfaces when it stops. So that's one kind of interesting thing about it. Also, whenever it's submerged, you get a lot more combat speed, so that's pretty good. And that's typical or cap 1, so that only affects the ship itself. So, or that's why I presume it affects just the ship itself, not all the ships, but just just one ship. So, yeah, has cloak efficiency. I don't believe we'll need cloak efficiency in this target because it's just siege target, and you won't be doing anything really that much about into having to have any cloak or anything like that. Combat speed, the turn speed's kind of iffy, so we'll need some turn speed on it. Tactical field resistance, that's pretty good. I wonder how well this thing will do in the current Legion colonies, because it's kind of interesting. Radioactive damage 125%, building damage is 200%. That's actually really interesting. And radioactive range is 5%, so that looks pretty good. Defenses is 75, so that's not bad. You boost it pretty easily. So what I really want to look at is the new specials that it has. So let's go into the specials. And I found it really interesting and not so much interesting. It really looks like the special itself looks like I've got the launcher system, I believe it's called. Let me find it. It's up top. Should be grayed out. Goodness, where is it? Yeah, right here. Okay, so yeah, it looks like the launcher system, but it doesn't have a shockwave. It has the combat speed and the launcher supercharge, but it does not have the shockwave damage and max shockwave. So there's two ways you could build this sucker. There's this way where you can put the new special on, which does combat speed and supercharge, and it also does a really good radioactive reload. And then you can put the old multiplex doubler, which adds 30% shockwave damage. So that'll work with each other and do pretty good. You'll have only 30% shockwave damage. But if you have seen the new launcher, it is powerful. So the shockwave of this thing is 25 million damage, and that's just the shockwave itself. If you add a 30% boost to it, then it gets pretty hefty. You get around 26 million. 26 million. Let's see. Oh no, that's the lowest one. Okay, so the 32.5 million damage per shockwave with this raptor, and if you have this multiplex on it. Now the other way I would probably think about is I really do like that launcher system, because it does do a really good shockwave, 40%. Because if you have the launcher system right there, it'll boost that 32.5 million to 35 million, and it's not that much difference. You get the same combat speed from the new special, but but then you also don't get the reload of the new special, and so that might be a key factor. You could do this, and you also don't get, if you do this multiplex, it changes from 40% to 30% because of max shockwave damage. So don't mix these suckers together unless you're only wanting that radioactive damage, in which case is I don't think there's anything else that's high enough like that. But if you want to keep that max shockwave damage that high, you could have an autoloader 4 for the reload, so you'll get that reload. You won't get, and you could also choose probably something, this one has 40% radioactive damage, but the real damage of this weapon isn't that high. If you look at it, it's only 27,000. Now if we look at the old launcher, it's only, the shockwave of it is 17,000. So on my Hydras, I'm pretty sure I'm only getting maybe 22 or 21,000 damage for shockwave, and my Hydras did the 88 pretty decently. It was slow in killing some of the targets, but not too bad. Let's see. But so for this one, the initial damage isn't that much, so what you really want to push for is the shockwave, and that's not too bad. So this would be a good idea if you want the max shockwave damage, is with the launcher system and your autoloader 4. Yeah, and so let's see. Yeah, that's I was going to think about doing the Fletchet feeder, but that one won't stack with the launcher system. So I'll probably will get the new special no matter what in the raid, but this is probably what I'm looking at because of the damage. Now we also have a different launcher that's limited, the Stalker launcher. It's less damage, shockwave damage, but it does give you ballistic and radioactive defense. So ballistic and radioactive defense 2%. It might not seem much, but let's look. So it was 75 here. Let's see what we can get with all 6 of them. All 6 goes to 78. So let's put on CL3. Let's go with that real quick. And it changes it to 90%. So it's not that bad. So let's put on armors and see what the armors are like. So it goes up to 96% defense with these, and without them, let me check how much it is without them. But they are limited, so that will be a problem. Okay, so they go down to 95 if you don't have them on there. If you do put them on there, you get more defense, but you do lose a lot of damage, and the damages are quite significant. for a minimum of 26 million to a maximum of 28 million damage, opposed to 32.5 and 35 million. So there's quite a difference, but you are getting more defense percentages here. And I know every defense percentage does count, matter. It helps a lot. But on these, I'm not exactly too sure how well it will be, because these do, submerge and only pop up whenever, you stop and fire. So another good idea on this hull is that these launchers shoot over the mountains. So if you don't like the mountains, you don't like going around the mountains to fire and that stuff, these will shoot over the mountains. Just like my Hydras do in the 88 VXP target. So that's one thing that's good about these launchers. Now, so let's do a mock build. And let's go with the new insulated charge capacitor. All right. Now, you might want to do this multiplex for the shockwave damage increase, and with this and the Raptor launcher, it makes the damage up to 32.5 million. So that's really pretty good amount, and that's for every shockwave. Now, depending on their reload and that stuff, then it'll be it'll all depend on your reload. So that adds 35% reload. So this hull doesn't have it doesn't have reload on its own. So that's also a handicap it has. So let's see what the reload would be. So this has a 6 reload. That's not too bad. So it's looking to be around 1.5. If you have skull ranking, you'll get the Raptor will get up to 1.5 reload, just with this setup. Now let's check out what's the reload on this. That's the same, so it'll be the same for both of them. Now I'm not sure. Let's check out the projectile speed, because that's one thing I don't like is projectile speed of the. So this is a 350, 400. So these have a better projectile speed, but I still won't be impressed. So there's different ways that you can increase the projectile speed. What I used to do on my Hydras, I do high velocity rounds, and I think I still have high velocity rounds on it. So that's one thing that you can do. But personally, I'll probably run the Strike System 5. The reason is the Strike System 5 is faster than the Speed System 6. It has turn speed, unlike Magnus Drive or something like that. And it does have projectile speed, 60% increase. Yeah, I know it has penetrative accuracy and penetrative range, but those will not affect the hull at all. The only things I'm looking for is the projectile speed 60%, and then the combat speed and turn speed, which those will help. That's the reason why I put it on my Eradicators too, is because the projectile speed and the combat speed is faster than the Speed System 6. So I'll do that. We'll always need these either CL3 or the layered armor, and or the reinforced layer armor, that's a limited special. And then we need siege battery 4, or if you have any other siege battery, then go ahead and do that. Then for this last special, you could do either siege reloader 2, because that'll increase your reload even more, and building and wall damage, which I don't think you'll need wall damage at all in this sucker. You could just do some extra reload for 25% reload. And if you choose to put counters on this to do the old targets, I wouldn't suggest doing that unless some testing has been done. But that'll work too. Siege targeting would be a pretty good one because it has 165% building damage, so that'll help a lot. Or if you are worried about anything spotting you, which I highly doubt anything will spot you. Oh, look at that! Here's some autoloader 4. You can still put that sucker on there. I didn't think you could. So I'll boost the reload to 141. So you'll get around, I think, 216 percent in reload. So let's see what that brings it to. Let's see, if it's 1.5 or that much. So you'll get around maybe 0.8, I believe, if my math is correct. Reload. So every it reloads every 0.8 seconds, which that's not too bad. That's pretty good. But that'd be a good one to use an autoloader for, and the reload is a big key for shockwave damage. You get more shockwaves over a short amount of time. Either that one, and I'm not exactly too sure if the building damage helps with shockwave. I don't believe it does. So, but I will also look into that and see if it works on Discord or not, which that'll be a really good good thing to look out for. Now the armors, I would say the folded ferrite armors are always good to put on. But if you have limited armors, the limited D6C or D6Rs, those can do some good. And depending on how you build this, if you want to use radioactive or ballistic resistors, it'll boost your defense, and then you could put a limited armor just to kind of even it out so that it works. But this will probably be the build that I'm doing, is right here. Just from looking at it, and it's of course obviously untested and that stuff, so I don't know how well it will do. But and also I might change the autoloader for depending on if the siege targeting actually works or not for shockwave damage. And I highly doubt it works for shockwave damage, but there's always room to ask questions in that stuff. So also like I said earlier, the best thing to do is have multiple of these holes. Come on. Is it not gonna? Whoa! Oh, I don't like you either. Let's lagging pretty quickly, so pretty bad. So let's copy. Yeah, copied it. Yeah, come on, Kixeye. Nice lagging. Okay, I'm currently refitting my eradicator right now, so that's my build right now that I'm going in. I added 2 armors to it, so okay, it's gonna lag. So I'll post that what I copied into the description and see how that works out. But so far it looks like let's go look at the. So this I was going to look into this one too, but my game's acting funky. Let's refresh real quick, see if that works. Or come on, most likely it will. So let me see. So this does have a special ability Dagger of the Deep. And it's really interesting. It's kind of like, I guess, like the OP gun in the sense, where it doesn't. It has a range of 95, so that's pretty good. But it does have 310,000 damage, and it's okay. But reload time is 68 seconds. So you compare that damage to the 25 million that's coming from the shockwave of these things, and it's really not that much, damage wise. So, but it is there. Let's see, but the picture it looks pretty interesting. It's you know it does a lot of good bonuses too. 30%, 30%, 25%. Whereas the other one's only 20 and 25. So you're still getting the same amount of radioactive damage, but you're getting 10% more defense, and that's actually really good. I would highly suggest, if you do get this hull, build it first. Build one that can do damage, but build this first, and so you can set this in the corner, and you'll get the 30%. Um, a defense, because that can help a lot. So I'm really impressed. That's a lot of shockwave damage. Let's go look at this. Okay. Let's see if it's not as laggy as bad. So. Ah, yeah, saved it. Okay. So, it does have 120,000 armor points. So this is a significant amount of armor points, and this is what's going to make it hard to rank. Is all those armor points, and that's what makes the Eradicators hard to rank, is the armor points. So that's going to be a pretty significant problem there. So let's look at the salons. Salon. It's basically the same thing. You do get 96% right there, and that might be just because it does the 30% to itself. Okay, stop acting funky. Okay, so it adds a supercharged special ability. That's not bad. Oh my gosh, why does this hate me? Okay, so but there you have it. That's what I would personally do with this Shrike and the Phantom Shrike. The Phantom will obviously hide itself on the map, so only the Harlech Tideseeker will be able to do it, and that'll be basically it. The build times are kind of iffy. Let's look at just a blank hole. The blank hole is, I'll clear that, 4 days and 5 hours. I think that's about the same as the Eradicator. The Eradicator is 4 days, 5 hours. So it's going to be the same thing as Eradicator, long builds. But my build right here that I have will take 17 days. Oh, that's gonna be fun. What about the flagship? Let's check out the flagship build time. Flagship build time is 9 days. And let's do a comparison with the brutal, 9 days. So it's the same as the brutal Eradicator, and the build times are all the same. So be prepared for that. And other than that, it seems like it'll be an interesting haul. I will say that I will probably most likely use the Phantoms, the Shrikes. I don't know the Shrike. It's a weird name. I'll probably use the Shrikes more often, because these do shoot over mountains, and they'll be easier to use than the Eradicator, because Eradicator will have problems with the mountains, whereas like if it was on auto, it'll go to target the turrets on the other side of the mountains, and you'll be shooting at the mountains forever until you die or something else happens. You time out. So that's one problem with these targets and these ships is I don't foresee them putting on auto. The Shrike might be able to do things on auto, but I would probably not recommend it. But the Eradicator, I really don't see it on doing on auto. But I will test these things out and see how well it does. I'll test out my Eradicators or my Buccaneers, and it probably won't test my Buccaneers because they suck in the 88. So I'm going in with just my Hydras, my Eradicators, but I'll see how my Eradicators do on auto and see if it actually works, because I know there's a lot of people that do these targets on auto, and that will be a problem for people if they can't do these things on auto. Because I mean, what's the point of having the the option to auto these things in the mobile app? The mobile app is completely auto, so what's the point of having auto if you can't auto these targets? If it will go around the mountains, then that'd be pretty cool. But we don't know how these targets will act, and who knows how Kixeye will do it. Will they allow it to retarget, or the AI be smarter? Who knows? I do know that the buildings in the 88s, I think there's special buildings that will actually surface the Shrike. So I will also want to test that out if I can. I'm not sure. But we will see tomorrow. Tomorrow's raid. And everyone know how ready everyone is. I'm extremely ready for it. So other than that, hope this video helped you in how to build the Shrike, and hopefully we can make a good build and make these things do good. So until next time, pirates.